heard today on the radio.
What?
Are you a Busta fan?
Busta who?
Busta Rhymes.
Yes! Yes! I am.
How many Bustas do you know?
Sorry.
Like, seriously. So apparently Versus season 2 is coming soon, and Busta is going to be one of the acts. So I don't know, who do you think will line him up with?
It has to be Missy Elliott.
Busta versus Missy.
Yes!
How?
Oh my god, like Busta. Yo.
But how about like LL Cool J? I don't know if he's got quite a large
No, if Busta Rhymes does like his Flipmore Squad, you know, he had like the give me some more.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Listen,
I'll be super mad.
Busta Rhymes I remember I used to play Busta Rhymes, and I think like it was a point like where I think my mom and them were worried. What is this music? You know his music. How does it go? I used to be able to say it off the top of my head. Where it's like it fell and it bumped his head, and anyway.
It'll be so.
If you put Busta, Janet Jackson, gonna make your body well.
Oh, I love that song, man. I love Miss Janet.
That's what I'm saying. I think.
How about that? And that song, Mariah. What song was that? I need to Google it.
If you give it to me.
Because I can see it, and it's right. It's this yellow car.
The long you want, baby, if you give it to me. Was it Busta?
No, what you want, baby, if you give it to me. Yes, give it to you.
No,
yeah, honestly, it'll be so good. I'll be prepping all week for that. I can't wait for them to come back. It's been so good.
Yeah,
they have been so good.
I know. I cannot wait. For people that may be listening to us for the first time, welcome to Girl in Skies podcast with me, Natasha.
And Xolie.
And I sometimes go by Nat.
I sometimes go by Michelle.
Yes, Michelle. What's going on? What's
happening? Not a lot, man. Like, I'm just, this is what's take. Thing again.
This is like take 3 or whatever of this week for this episode. But
here we are.
Because Xolie is a chakra hand. One day we need to talk about this.
What do you mean?
No, because Xolie's whole thing is like after we record. So guys, sometimes when you listen to an episode, this is like it would be like take 5, take 6.
True.
And yeah, I mean, I love me some Xolie, but 6 hours in a row.
You know what I mean? This is the only way of getting to spend time with you.
So we only put out an episode if Xolie's guts are
No, but you also acknowledge this already. Okay, you know. There's something about, yesterday we were both tired. Mm-hmm. We'd already done like that interview. We're both tired, and then we're trying to make it work. And I was just like, even in the middle, I was thinking, should I say now that this is not working?
Guys, we were an hour deep, and we were like, yeah, thank you guys. Follow us on Girl in Skies. And then I'm like, stop recording. I'm like, oh, okay, Xolie, bye, good night. She's like, and I was like, I knew it. I was like, She's like,
Your face just said it all. But anyway, no, I thank you for being so.
No, but to be fair, every time you say that, when we re-record, the episodes are always better.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fire episode today.
But I think what we should do is dig up like unreleased episodes.
That is so much fun.
When we do like, I don't know, something, Patreon or something.
Yeah.
Of the unreleased episode.
Right.
Then we have the Uncle Peggy one where we do that twice as well.
Oh my god.
We've got quite a few. We've got quite a few versions, so maybe we should do that.
Yeah. Do you know the one that I would love to listen to again is our very the pilot.
Yeah,
I'm a bit gutted that Brent didn't. Well, I don't know. It's not his issue, I suppose.
He said it was, but I think
he didn't say this. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought he said it via Dropbox.
Dropbox, yeah.
So I thought like it's gonna work forever, like, but we were all kind of new to it, so
yeah. Anyway, that was good. But anywho, what's happening in politics, and what's happening in the politics?
Before we move to the politics, so just a reminder, guys, that so last episode we talked about diversity and inclusion. So if you have not yet had a chance to check out that episode, please do. Had really interesting like conversations following that, because it seems like a lot of us in our professional spaces, creative spaces, like we're having those conversations. So yeah, definitely make sure you check out that episode.
And thank you to the Manyati as well, because she kind of gave like a bit of with her deep voice. She was like, yeah, so you guys.
It's a sexy voice. I love her voice.
Yes, I was just like, geez. But she talked about the importance of compensation, which I was like, this is so relevant, because you know what? We talk about how we don't actually have the time to do this, but not at one particular point in time did I think that, oh, you know what? Can we be paid for this? Then I'd be happy to do it. But yeah, so thank you for that. Shout out to you.
Yeah. So guys, just make sure you check out the hashtag Gallants Guys to see the conversation and all the comments that we have had. And yes, and then what did you have? I think you wanted to thank some people.
So I wanted to what? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Thank some people.
Yes. So really, for the past few weeks, we've had some people who have bought us coffee, sent us money. So I just want to have a special thank you to you guys, because, we always try to slot in some time to talk about this. And then we end up, getting so deep into the conversation that, it's something that we keep putting back. So really want to take time out to say to Terry, to Sipo, who bought us coffees. So thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Thank you to Vanessa, who also sent us money. She sent it a little while ago now, but thank you all the same. All these, all the coffees, the support that you guys give to us, it means everything. So we love doing this. We're doing it from our hearts, and that you enjoy these episodes as well. And you do this means a lot to us too. So thank you.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much. Your support helps us to, the practical things, like when we have to go to the studio, the equipment that we need, and just the software that we're trying to get, and just everything to keep it running. It eases the pressure off us, because we self-fund this thing. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you're interested, just go on our social media. There will be a link to either our PayPal or buy me a coffee. So you choose like how many coffees you want us to get to keep us going. So yes. And then I think you wanted to talk about something that you
so I think the next few months, maybe even shorter than months, weeks, looking to start a kind of virtual kind of book club, lit in skies kind of thing. So where we kind of talk to authors or talk about books as well. So hoping to launch in the next few weeks, to be honest. I've kind of reached out to a couple of authors as well. So I'm really excited, as both have kind of said, oh, you know what, this is a great idea, I'll do it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So guys, if you've got any books that you're reading, that's a book that maybe you've read in the past, or book that you're reading that is really interesting, or that is something that has touched you, something that you have kind of maybe made you change the way you think, whatever it is, just hit us up, and we can maybe do a book review of it. And if you are currently, I think we'll start off with Joshua Ngomo's book, The Story of My Life. It's a book that I have just finished reading, and I found it really interesting. So I'm not really a big politics sort of person, especially in politics. I find it quite a difficult, muddy terrain to venture into. So it's been quite interesting for me to read how Joshua Ngomo played a part in the liberation of Zimbabwe and how things kind of panned out for him. So his book is it's a personal book, and he's really talking about his views and his thoughts about a lot of things. And I'll be really interested to hear what other people have to say, what you guys think as well. So I think via Instagram Live, we'll kind of maybe have just a short session, and we'll just literally talk about what this book is, what it meant to you guys, what you learned, 5 things that you learned from it, and take it from there. And then hopefully as time progresses, we'll start doing books that are a little bit more, lighthearted, contain a lot more relationships and all this stuff.
Yes, so well done. So I like the fact that you glazed over like Litton Skies, and because I think it's such a great,
It's
for the love of literature.
For the love of literature. It's literally like, we could start off with Zimbabwean authors, lit in sky, so sky authors, and then branch it out as in people who have traveled abroad or people who are across the seas. I love it. Lit in skies is going to be amazing.
Do you have the book with you?
I do.
Remember, I always say I want that book. I have not read it yet.
I promised it to somebody on Twitter, and what's his name? And he then came and helped me. I was like, hold me accountable in front of the people. Why don't you?
Oh, really?
Because I said to him, I was like, let's see what we can do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The story of my life.
That's good. No, so I'm looking forward to it. So Lit in Skies. So you guys already have Love in Skies, and now we've got Lit in Skies. And really looking forward to it, because Xolie is our resident book person. Although I have not read that book, what I did say to you that what I would be interested in is just finding out some things that we don't know. Obviously, we just know, like, about Joshua Ngomo, him as a leader. But for example, you mentioned that he was a social worker before. I did not know that. So I think it would be really interesting, like, for you to kind of like chop it up and lead us in that discussion. So guys, make sure as a starting point that you are following us on social media, particularly on Instagram at Gelin Skies, because I think that's where, Xolie, you're going to sort of just launch it. But as time goes on, I'm sure more will be done.
Yeah, for sure.
So authors reach out to Xolie. If you're reading a book that you think you'd like to be discussed, reach out to Xolie, or reach out to Gelin Skies, just to make Xolie's work easier so that people are not flooding your DM.
No, but I enjoy it. It's also quite, it's nice to hear from people. So yeah, reach out.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in politics?
Yeah, so just wanted to talk about, so in the news, in the last episode, we did mention the SARS, which is the Special Anti-Robbery Services in Nigeria, where there was the hashtag #EndSARS, just because of the encounters that people had, and mentioned that people had been protesting. And remember, I don't know if you remember, like last time I talked about it, we were like, okay, the president had announced that they'll be disbanding it. And we're like, okay, that seems like it was a good response. However, literally, so today is what day is today? The 21st of October. So on the 20th of October, there was, in what Lekki Tollgate, there were protesters that were peacefully protesting, and unfortunately the armed forces shot some of them. And the latest that I heard, Amnesty International was saying approximately 12 people have died, and quite a few were injured. And this has just, I mean, all over social media, people are talking about this. It is inhumane. It is very sad. It is unacceptable for any peaceful, protesters who are rightfully protesting to be shot. I did read somewhere that I think a curfew had been imposed. However, even if a curfew had been imposed and people are still out after the curfew, there's ways that you can disband people without literally killing them. And I think it was particularly sad for me because it reminded me of Zim and what happened in 2019 and even 2018, I think. 2018, August 2018, when the armed forces shot, unarmed retreating citizens who were protesting. And I think we're just seeing a lot of outcry from African nations. I know in Congo, I've seen the hashtag Congo is bleeding. I still need to educate myself a little bit more about what's happening currently. But yeah, I think it's just, we're just seeing what I think is a group of leaders who are far removed from our experiences as younger people and just don't have the energy to govern young people. Therefore, they can't engage with the issues that young people care about in a way that is productive. So then they then use brutal force to retaliate. And yeah, it's just one of those things that it's just really sad. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's apparent to me that most nations are on their own, particularly now with the pandemic, with, the global West is focused on the pandemic. Most nations are very inward looking. So yeah, but sending love to everyone in Nigeria, everyone in the African continent that has been directly and indirectly impacted by all these acts of violence.
Yeah, no, it is sad. And to think that, and you're right, because I almost feel like there isn't enough like media, like BBC and everyone else is concerned about what's happening on UK ground or in US is their politics. It's like what's happening in our own land, to kind of realize that, democracy is actually being, it's not being carried out. Like people are being killed like on the streets for protesting, but peacefully. So it's sad just to think that all these things are happening in Africa. They're happening now, and we can't even focus. Not that we can't focus, we can focus, but there's just so much that's happening in the world that I don't feel like they're getting the right attention that they need. It's sad.
Yeah, no, but I think it kind of leads me to a question that, it's just a question we cannot answer it, but it's like, what do we do? I feel like, particularly as Africans, as the African diaspora, I think it's apparent to me the importance of the role that the diaspora plays, particularly in amplifying what's happening, and raising awareness. And listen, before I came on here, like on Sky News, they were talking about it, and they actually had the author, what's his name, Wole Senior. Yeah. So he was talking about it, but then so I think on that front, it's like I said, it's helpful that the diaspora is sort of playing that role. But then what we don't yet have the answer is, in terms of action, what does that mean? But I think it's apparent to me, Uti, just as Africans, we need to be, I think we need to care what's happening in other countries, and we need to amplify. So I'm hoping that, you know, we'll also see that reciprocated, like with Zim.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the last few months, I guess from Black Lives Matter, from that whole movement, there's been a lot more about how you can help. You know, you don't necessarily need to be on the ground. You don't need to be Nigerian to care. You need to be a person just to care. But there's all these ways in which you can, like retweeting information, liking posts, and ensuring that you're using the hashtag to kind of really ensure that there is a lot of attention that is put on things like SARS, on NSARS, and all this other stuff. Because I was listening to something a few days ago, and they were like, oh, you know, it's so helpful when people put out posts like, you know, what is happening in Nigeria now? And then, you know, in very brief words, you kind of just give an outline of what SARS is. Because this person was like, oh, you know, I had no idea that SARS was a unit. She was like, I thought it was, she was like, oh gosh, she's an American lady. She was like, I thought, oh my goodness, we've got COVID here. They've got SARS, as in the flu. Was it?
Yeah.
So it's quite important that you kind of, if there is something that is giving information, that people do kind of retweet it or just post it, just to kind of help other people who may not necessarily know what's going on in Nigeria.
Yeah. And so talking about, still talking about what's happening in Nigeria, right? But just like pivoting a little bit. So Beyonce's internet has been wilding against Beyonce. Can you imagine? So anyway, just for context, I want to say just over a week or so ago, Tiwa Savage, I'm sure some of you know her, like she's an Afrobeat singer. I think she's signed to Rock Nation Management and all that. So she went on her Instagram to talk about, you know, everything that's happening in Nigeria. And she name-checked Beyonce and called on Beyonce, you know, to use her platform to raise awareness. So Tiwa Savage was actually part of Beyonce's Black is King project, where, you know, the Black is King was like, I guess following The Lion King. I really enjoyed, you know, Black is King, watching it and everything. And obviously Beyonce, like, I feel like paid homage or whatever you call it to like African culture. And she worked with a lot of African designers, a lot of African artists. We had Ubusiswa, you know, from SA and everything. So what Tiwa was saying was, you know, you've embraced like our culture and, you know, put it out there as a project, you know, commercial project. Now we need help in terms of, you know, what's happening to be amplified. I'm calling on you, Beyonce, to use your platform, you know, to help us, right? So everyone was, you know, was in the comments kind of like saying, yeah, we agree. Obviously, some people are like, you know, don't come for our, you know, for our mother. Anyway, as an aside, you know, I used to be like in the Beehive properly. Like I was a super fan, like, which is why even my Twitter is like @Malaika Diva, because at the time, like Beyonce fans, we would like call ourselves like, I don't know, whatever, fierce or diva. You know, she had the song Diva. So this is quite, you know, like I used to talk reckless. If you find my old tweets about B, like I used to like be Beyonce's biggest defender. But anyway, I do like I did appreciate what you know, Tiwa was saying, because I would also feel quite emotional about, you know,
so
yeah. So I used to be Beyonce's biggest fan, and then Beyonce's publicist, a lady called Yvette, she put something on her Instagram where she was basically saying, you know, not all activists post, like activism is not posting online, and that people should, she didn't say Beyonce, but basically she was just saying that people may be doing stuff, but just because they don't post online does not mean that they don't support. And then there was everything on Twitter, you know, people doing think pieces on Beyonce's, you know, supposed cultural appropriation and the fact that she hasn't spoken out. And it just kind of got me thinking about just where we are with celebrities and what we expect from them. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the Beyonce thing, but just we'll move it away from B and just talk generally. Like, do you think that Beyonce should be called out to use her platform?
I think I want to be absolute. I think Beyonce is going to do what Beyonce wants to do. I think even after being called out by Tiwa Savage, if she doesn't want to comment on what's happening in Nigeria, she's not going to do it. So there's two things. I think if you are affected by something, if you see something that makes you want to take action, then you do it. Beyonce hasn't done anything. So does it mean that she doesn't care? I don't think it doesn't mean she doesn't care, but it probably means that she's got other things that she feels are more important to be dealing with. I think there is an element that as a celebrity, you know, she's going to be called out on a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are happening in Africa, for example, at the moment, from Namibia to the Congo. So is she going to then post something for each of these countries? I think, I don't know. I don't know if she will. All I'm saying is I think she should be allowed to kind of use her voice when she wants to use her voice, not to be kind of put in a corner, because then if your heart is not in it, then why would you then go around saying, oh, you know, this is what's happening? I think use your platform for the good when you want to highlight or just bring attention to something. I guess from Tiwa's point where she's talking about the whole Black is King, and how Beyonce was really like, this is like a gift to people from Africa in the diaspora. Africa's a massive, 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 massive continent, you know, and there's a lot of, 54 countries in there. And so maybe she feels like she has done her bit. Like, I'm not going to speak on her behalf. I think what is important is, like, even when we had our Zimbabwe Lives Matter movement, we were calling out, we called out, there's people who kind of helped us. People like Ice Cube, all those celebrities retweeted our cause. People talked about it on their platforms, which was really helpful. But the thing is, so we called out to them and they reacted to that because they're like, oh, you know what, I didn't know about this. This is terrible. But to have Beyonce's publicist coming out to say that, oh, you know what, people don't necessarily need to be using social media as a platform. It means that she knows about it, but she's choosing not to do anything about it. So if she now then turns around and then is reactive to what people are calling her out to, then I'm just like, I don't know.
So actually, sorry.
No, carry on.
No, so I just wanted to say Beyonce did post.
Also, she did. She was put under pressure and she...
Yes, 13 hours ago, at the time I speak, so she was like, I am heartbroken to see the senseless brutality taking place in Nigeria. There has to be an end to SARS. We have been working on partnerships with youth organizations to support those protesting for change. We are collaborating with coalitions to provide emergency healthcare, food, and shelter. To our Nigerian sisters and brothers, we stand with you. Please visit beyonce.com for a list of organizations to show your support. And I wanted to, so her mom, Tina,
something else as well.
She like reposted it, right? And then her comment was like, thanks for quietly researching, identifying, vetting, and supporting organizations on the ground that can help support the protesters. Thanks for continuing the work to really have a plan to make a difference, not just talking, but doing.
And that's the thing as well. Like I was going to say to you, I think what people need to realize is people have got more than one means of, like more than one platform. So Konoko, just because she didn't post something on Twitter doesn't mean that she's not doing something else on the ground. So to call someone out and be like, oh, you haven't said anything, doesn't necessarily mean that you're not doing anything. And I'm glad that she's come out and she's actually given more of a detail, not just reposting to say this is what's happening in Nigeria. She's shown that she's engaging with people in Nigeria, with people who are protesting. She's looking at things like healthcare. So that's a queen.
Yeah. No, so I just thought it was interesting. I don't have like the answer, as it were. I do think it is important for people to use their platforms to, to amplify issues that are happening. So yes, you may be doing stuff on the ground, but I think initially what people were asking for is just amplify it. Because what happens is when you amplify something, really, I think what we're trying to do is shame those in power, shame those in government. Because if the world is crying out, then they will kind of, react. However, on the other side, so for example, I don't want to like compare people, like someone like Rihanna, like I normally see like how she responds to these things. It kind of feels a little bit more natural. And I feel like Rihanna's experience, again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here. Rihanna is an immigrant herself. So it kind of got me thinking that, you know what, I feel like someone like Beyonce, and again, not just talk about Beyonce, just celebrities, like when we call out celebrities, like someone like Beyonce, like she just wants to entertain and do music. Like she didn't ask to now be, to have this position, although it's important. But it just kind of got me thinking, because remember, like even in Zim, Jah Praiser
still said nothing about Zimbabwe last night. To this very day.
And then people were like, oh, we're not going to vote for you for that thing. So that's the consequence.
Yeah, but I take that very personally. I'm like, you're in Zimbabwe. This is happening under your nose. You're Zimbabwean. I wouldn't not vote for Beyonce because she didn't say anything about Zimbabwe Lives Matter. But if it was somebody on the ground who was a Zimbabwean like myself, then yes, I take that very personally, because it means that if you're not for us, then you're definitely, you're one of the people who's benefiting from the corrupt system. So I know it's picking and choosing, and I feel like I should be allowed to do that.
No, but I think you make a good point, because you bring another dimension to it, right? Because asking Beyonce to talk about stuff outside of America is kind of similar to asking Jah Praiser to talk about what's happening in Namibia. That's not what we're doing. It's just like if something was happening in Houston, like in Ward 12, wherever she grew up, like, yeah, it's like, talk about it. And actually, now that you've said it, like, if you follow kind of like the stuff that she does a lot of stuff in Houston, in her city of birth, in her town. And I think that's fine. But then it's interesting, because then I don't fault people for calling her out, but I think sometimes there's a danger that we outsource, I don't know, because our African leaders seem untouchable, right? Almost like there's nothing that you can say, do, that will, the African Union is not going to intervene. The UN is not going to intervene. So we can get a bit sidetracked by then focusing our energies on, oh, Beyonce hasn't said this, Jay-Z hasn't said this, which celebrity has said this, which celebrity hasn't said that. And actually, Malcolm X has a quote, you know, I need to find it, where he talks about the use of celebrities, and he says that there's no other community that looks up to celebrities as leaders. Just normally like the Black, obviously that was kind of like in a different context, but I'm just thinking like in you know, I don't know, no one has ever said, what is Adam Sandler doing? What is Ben Affleck saying about this? You know, because I guess we just accept them as entertainers.
It's, I suppose as well, when you think about in the Black community, we always feel like our struggles, whether you're in Africa or whether you're in America, they're almost similar. So which is why we don't call out a lot of white people to come to our rescue. Because we feel, you know what, another Black person, like, listen, this is what's happening in Nigeria. This is what's happening to, I almost feel like there is, we expect this oneness from us. So we expect a collective voice from everybody to kind of share the same sentiments. Whereas if you're talking about Adam Sandler, yeah, okay, and you know, I don't know. Maybe that's just my view anyway.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, I don't fault people for doing, you know, all of that. But then I personally feel challenged as well, because it's kind of like, even like with the Zimbabwean Lives Matter, right? And we did say like there is a social, like, internet activism is important in raising awareness, and it moves the needle bit by bit. But then the question that you always get back from people is, okay, so what do we do to support? And they, oh, you know, just amplify what we're saying. But I think just us as Africans, we're gonna have to figure out more than just saying amplify. They
need to be like a proper, like Konoko, like, you know, you see what Beyonce has done. She's like engaging with people on the ground, food, healthcare, and all this stuff. That's kind of where we need to be heading to as well, I think.
Let me see if I can find the thing. I think the Malcolm X one. I hope it will work.
Show me in the white community leaders. They call leaders. This included Lena Horne. This included Dick Gregory. And this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are... Yeah,
but anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Just the sentiment that you know, they are celebrities. They are just entertainment.
Yeah, they're just people at the end of the day. People with a lot of money.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I thought
good. Yeah. It would be interesting to hear. It would be interesting to hear what people have to say as well.
No. It will be. I like I said, I do appreciate like the need, you know, for awareness to be raised, and I do understand the argument about, well, you know, when it was beneficial for you, you were talking about like African culture and everything, but now your mom. But at the same time, she can turn around and be like, the creators and everything, they were paid, the designers were paid. And actually maybe it could be frustrating if she really genuinely had been doing like work. Yeah, because we know like Jay-Z and B, like they've like, even like with the Black Lives Matter stuff, even way before, like they pay for people like for bail and all that stuff. So
yeah, so they do a lot for people.
Yeah, no, I think that is it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So guys, tell us what you think on Twitter, Instagram, #GalenSkies and all that.
Yeah. Indeed. Look forward to hearing your thoughts.
And then, Xolie, anything to close off?
I have nothing at the moment. So next time.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So catch us on we're available on all platforms on social media. On Twitter, we're at
Girl in Skies.
Instagram,
Girl in Skies.
Facebook,
Girl in Skies Podcast.
YouTube,
Girl in Skies.
What have I forgotten? I don't know.
You can send us an email, mygirlinskies@gmail.com.
Yeah. And where can people find you on Instagram?
I don't have an Instagram. Where can people find you on Instagram? Oh no, on Instagram at Girl in Skies.
Exactly. Girl in Skies. If you want to DM there.
Yes.
And Twitter?
Oh, my Twitter, I'm at Malaika Diva.
And I'm Xolie NC.
Thank you, Xolie NC. Bye, guys.
Bye.